examine the pig digestive tract. And I want to introduce my assistants for today is Ivan Anino. So let's begin. So our first thing to do is to dissect the stomach. So let me show you my organ here. So as you can see that the stomach is still attached on the small intestine. So first, let's cut the attachment on stomachs on the small intestine. So here is the stomach. The first thing you will notice on the stomach is this thing. So this structure here has a distinct function in the stomach. So first let us cut its attachment to the stomach to know what it looks like. As you can see, this structure here is like a lace that is attached in the stomach, and this thing is called omentum. So the omentum is a large flat adipose tissue layer covered by visceral peritoneum that hangs down from the greater curve of the stomach, floating in the surface of the intraperitoneal organs, mostly small and large bowel. And attached on this omentum is the spleen. So the spleen is an organ in the upper far left part of the abdomen to the left of the stomach. The spleen varies in size and shape between people, but it's commonly fish-shaped, purple, and about 4 inches long. Because the spleen is protected by the rib cage, you can't easily feel it unless it's abnormally enlarged. The spleen plays multiple supporting roles in the body. It acts as a filter for blood as part of the immune system. Old red blood cells are recycled in the spleen, and platelets and white blood cells are stored there. The spleen also helps fight certain kinds of bacteria that cause pneumonia and meningitis. So let's go on to the stomach. So here is the pig stomach. So the stomach has 4 main regions, that is the cardia, fundus, body, and pylorus. So the cardia, let's first look at the cardia. So here is the cardia in this part. So the cardia or cardiac region is the point where the esophagus, this one, and through which food passes into the stomach. Located inferior to the diaphragm, above and to the left side of the cardia is the dome-shaped fundus. So this part here is the fundus. Below the fundus is the body, the main part of the stomach, and the funnel-shaped pylorus connects the stomach through the duodenum. The narrower end is called the pyloric canal, which connects to the duodenum. The smooth muscle pyloric sphincter is located at the later. The smooth muscle pyloric sphincter is located at this latter point of connection and controls stomach emptying. In the absence of food, the stomach deflates inward, and the mucosa and submucosa fall into large folds called rugae. The convex lateral surface of the stomach is called the greater curvature. The concave medial border is lesser curvature. So here is the lesser curvature and the greater curvature. So the stomach is held in place by the lesser omentum, which extends from the liver to the lesser curvature, and the greater omentum, which runs from the greater curvature to the posterior abdominal wall. So now let's cut the stomach and know what's inside it. As you can see, we can tell that the pig is full. So now, the first thing to do is to wash the stomach, the pig's stomach. So now, this is my stomach. And then now, as we open it, we can see the evidence of the rugae, the folds of the stomach that is called the rugae. And inside the stomach is some gastric pits that is not invisible to the eye. And the stomach's mucosal epithelial lining consists only of surface mucous cells which secrete a protective coat of alkaline mucus. And also, as I said earlier, a vast number of gastric pits dot on the surface of the epithelium, giving it the appearance of a well-used pin cushion, and mark the entry of each gastric gland, which secretes a complex digestive fluid referred to as gastric juices. And now we can also notice that there are two holes in the stomach. So these two holes has also a sphincter, and in the between the esophagus and the stomach is called the cardiac sphincter, and between the stomach and the jejunum it is the pyloric sphincter. And now let's review the parts of the stomach. So the first thing here is the cardia. Second is fundus, the body of stomach, and the pyloric region, the greater curvature, and the lesser curvature. So that's the end of the stomach dissection. And now, let's move on to the small intestine and the large intestine. So first, let us first cut the organs that is not included in the small and large intestine dissection. Examining the small intestine and the large intestine, you can notice this part here that connects the small intestine and large intestine. And this structure here is called the mesentery. So the mesentery attaches your intestines to the wall of your abdomen. This keeps your intestines in place, preventing it from collapsing down in your pelvic area. So our mesentery also contains lymph nodes. this one. So lymph nodes are small glands that are located through your body that can help fight off infections. They can contain several types of immune cells and can trap pathogens such as viruses and bacteria. Lymph nodes in the mesentery can sample bacteria from your intestines and generate an immune response when necessary. So this part here is the small intestine, and this part here is the large intestine. So the shortest region is the jejunum, which begins at the pyloric sphincter. Just past the pyloric sphincter, it bends posteriorly behind the peritoneum, becoming retroperitoneal, and then makes a C-shaped curve around the head of the pancreas before ascending anteriorly again to return to the peritoneal cavity and join the jejunum. So here is the jejunum, and the jejunum is The jejunum is about 3 feet long in length, and runs from the jejunum is the ileum. Jejunum means empty in Latin and supposedly was so named by the ancient Greek, who noticed it was always empty at death. No clear demarcation exists between the jejunum and the final segment of the small intestines, the ileum. So, the ileum is the longest part of the small intestine, measuring about 1.8 in length. It is thicker, more vascular, and has more developed mucosal folds than the jejunum. The ileum joins the cecum, here, the small intestine, and here is the large intestine. So the ileum joins the cecum, the first portion of the large intestine, at the ileocecal sphincter. The jejunum and ileum are tethered to the posterior abdominal wall by the mesentery. The large intestine frames these 3 parts of the small intestine. So here is the end of the small intestine, which is the ileum, and the first part of the large intestine, and between this is the ileocecal sphincter. So the large intestine. The large intestine is the terminal part of the alimentary canal. The primary function of this organ is to finish absorption of nutrients and water, synthesize certain vitamins, form feces, and eliminate feces from the body. So the large intestine runs from the appendix of the anus. It frames the small intestines on 3 sides. Despite it being about 1/2 as long as the small intestine, it is called large because it is more than twice the diameter of the small intestine. So now let us review the parts of the small intestine and the large intestine. And first is the jejunum. Then the duodenum, jejunum, and the last part is the ileum. So between the ileum and the cecum and the ileum is the ileocecal valve. So there are 4 parts of the large intestine: the cecum, the ascending colon, the transverse colon, and the descending colon. And that ends my small intestine and large intestine dissection.